Hello. Hope you are staying safe, keeping well, staying safe, whatever one it is. Today, you're going to need weights again, but they're not going to be so much upper body strength. It's going to be used for a lot of rotations. So, as usual, it's always optional to use them. So, if you can grab something, whether if you don't have free weights, you know the score, grab something that's similar, grab some cans of baked beans, whatever you can find, and then bring them to your mats, and we can get started. Today we start in child's pose. So I'm just going to get my camera angle a bit better. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start child's pose position. If you can, remember it's not always for everyone child's pose, so if you don't want to do it, then you simply can do an elbow cat stretch. Otherwise, big toes together, nice wide stance through the knees, creating a nice gap to just drop down, relax the body and take a breath, and then find your Pilates breathing. And as you exhale, melt your bottom further down into your heels and just allow your shoulders to relax into the ground. So if you're in a cat stretch, it's the same position through the body. We're just going to curl it up and sink it back. Eye gaze forward, lift the bottom, curl it in, sink it back. Otherwise, if you've got your bottom parked into your heels, take your arms for another walk over towards me. Take the back arm, interlace your fingers, so you're sliding the hand on top, and then stretch the body into a side bend as you pull your back hip further in towards the heels. Inhale, look up, stretch, and then exhale, melt down and just reach those arms a tiny bit further and do that 3 times. Inhale. So it's the same thing if your bottom's off the ground, just do the same thing from a cat stretch, just reaching through that upper body to the side. One more breath. And then take it all the way to the other side. So side bend to the other side. This front hand interlaces the back hand. And we breathe as we exhale, melting down, C shape through the upper body. Inhale, lift up, look up. And exhale, slide a little bit further. 3 more times. So again, if you're in that cat stretch, you're just doing the same thing. Just side bending, pulling back through that front hip. And then carefully bring yourself back into the middle. Come up onto your hands and knees. And this is where we're going to begin again. So I'm just going to get my weights nearby. And we're going to start with those lovely rotations that we do. So you might want to use a light weight for this. It depends how strong your shoulders are feeling. If you want to use a heavy, try it. If you want to drop a weight, don't use a weight at all, then also just lose the weight completely. So my back hand, my right hand is in the middle of my chest. My left hand's going to grab the weight. It's nothing that most of you have not done before, but it's a wonderful way to start your Pilates. So we create a C shape through the arm, and then we twist from the waist, the rib cage, we squeeze up, and then we gently lower back down, feed the arm through, but hover the arm. This arm on the ground, this one, the right one, is bent, taking the pressure, and then we inhale, exhale, rotate, squeeze, inhale, exhale, feed it through. So both parts of this exercise is still quite an important thing. Now, I know you can't see the top of my arm as I rotate, but I'm not straightening it out. I'm keeping it in a slight bend in the elbow, so that position here does not change. It's always like that, and then it always comes through as I feed it through. So front on view, that's what you get as you push your arm under. And you're trying to keep your hip bones as still as possible, but you can allow a little bit of give and rotate from that waist and that rib cage. So everything here is turning from the trunk, and this is very much about rotation today. So just be aware that if you don't like too much rotation, you just reduce it and lose the weight, okay? Just don't do so much. Right, 2 more, wherever you are. On that last one, see if you can rotate up, hold it up, use your core strength and press. Squeeze the shoulder blade. 4, 3, 2, give me one more, and feed the arm all the way under. Ground it into the floor. If you can, drop your eye gaze to the weight, drop your head to the floor, and feed that arm through and open out that shoulder blade. You might not be all the way on the floor. You can sometimes make a little fist with this hand and just pop your head on there, and then that might be enough for you just to go to that depth. So find your breath. And then on your next breath, just bring that hand to the floor, slide that arm under and just drop the weight there. Take a little cat stretch just to ease off. And then we're going to stick to working this left arm for now. So we're going to keep the hand on the floor. This foot at the back is going to take a spin around, and then I'm going to open out to the side like this. So I've this is now my base, my knee sitting beneath my hip bone. I've opened up the front hip and I've opened up the shoulders so that when you open up your arm, you've just got a lovely side on position through the body. I'm just going to take so you can see my upper body. That's better. Okay. Options to use your weight. Again, it's up to you. We are here. We're going to inhale, float the weight under, rotate, and exhale, take the arm up. Option is to let this leg float up to the hip. So we come under and reaching up. So that leg just stays where it is. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can take that hand away and drop your hip down a little bit. So now I'm taking more of the weight into that underneath buttock. But make sure your wrist stays as far underneath your shoulder as possible. 5 more. Squeeze your tummy as you rotate under. Use your core to keep the control. Don't let that top hip follow you too much. Last 2. 1 more. And then hold up. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Lower the foot to the floor. Stay here and just pulse your hips here, or slide that leg away and challenge yourself here. Let's go. Lift, lift. If you need to drop that top weight, lift. Drop it down. Come on. 6, 5. Be strong in that shoulder. 4. Squeeze up through that waistline. 3. Last 2 and 1. Lower the arm. Spin around on the toes and drop yourself down to the floor. Grab that weight and bring your weights underneath you. Okay, so from here, we're going to do a little bit of upper body strength, just to warm it up a little bit more. Now, this is an effective enough exercise without using a weight. I'm going to show you with the weights because some of you probably just want to use them anyway. I want you to be in a plank position to start with. I'm going to show you slowly the first one so you know. So plank position, dumbbell row. Then drop the weight outside wide. Lower your knees and do a half tricep to push up to half chest push up. So my arm that's on the floor kind of points out to the side. This one comes in slightly and I'm working just into the shoulders and into the tricep. Bring the weight back in, lift up, row up, drop the weight wide, drop the knees, and then drop down in between. So you can make it as easy or as hard as you like. You don't have to lift your knees for the rows. You might want to keep your hips down and row there, then take the weight wide, then drop down and pull it back underneath again. So hips stay down, we row, drop it wide. The hips can lift slightly for your push up and in. Some of you might want to do the whole thing with your knees off the floor the whole time, which is really challenging, but you need to have that upper body strength to be able to achieve that without losing your core positioning. So get going now, making sure you've chosen the right position. Start with the medium one, see how it feels. Rowing, and dropping down, back into the middle and lift. And so on. And please don't feel like this is too hard for you. Be thinking, I can't do this at all. It's useless. You just bring yourself more into a box position. Row from there, take it wide, and dip. Okay, that's so much easier if you're feeling the day's not really working well for you. I need the easy option, but I want to keep going. I don't want to give up. Take it to that level. There's pretty much four different levels here. So wherever you are, do 2 more each side. Use that core stability, breathe, get that row so your elbows slides to the rib cage, then take it wide and slightly out to the side, slightly lower down, sorry, and then do that push up. So 1 more each side. Nearly there. And then bring your weights into the middle, turn your palms down, keep your knees fairly close together and just sit back for a resting period and lower the elbows, drop down, stretch into that lower back. Or again, you're here doing that cat stretch. Find your breath. And then look up, lift up. I want you to turn around and come and sit on your bottom with your legs either bent or straight out in front of you. Staying on the length of your mat, I'm just going to spin around to show you the exercise. Okay. Weights here. My t-shirt's got stuck. Weights here. Nothing you probably haven't done before. We curve back through the spine. This is an opportunity for you to use a little cushion or a ball into the lower back if you feel you need a little bit of support. Otherwise, suck the belly in, hold. Lift the weights away and then turn, tap the elbow back to the middle, tap the elbow, doesn't matter if it doesn't touch the floor. So very slight rowing motion, but with that rotation to get into the obliques. So I'm going to do this without weight to show you. So you just bring the knuckles together, pull, center, pull, center. So ideally, you kind of air kiss the ground with that elbow, but it doesn't matter if you can't. Come up a little bit further if you need to ease off. Okay, listen to your bodies. You want the abs to work, not the back to work. And that is where people go wrong. Squeeze those thighs together. Keep going. I'm getting very hot in here. This room is extremely hot. Sun traps it. Woo. Keep going. 7, 6. Come on, turn. 5, 4, 3. Last 2. Last 1, and curl it forward. Drop the weights down, slide your hands onto your shins, and then pull your spine up into extension. Just lift up tall. Breathe. And then I want you to just continue your spin around. So you are here. I just want you to rotate 180 degrees to here. And then turn over onto your side. Right, so we're going to set ourselves up on this side. So we had the top leg was extended. This leg was bent and we lift up into, oh no, we're on our hands, lifting up into a full extended side plank. Now the knee can be beneath the hip if you need to take the easier option, or the knee is further away, so then you drop the hip slightly, but you're taking the weight and you don't let this waistline sink down. Grab the weight. When you are ready, we inhale, we drop under, we exhale, come up. We inhale, float it under, exhale, up. Lift that leg to hip height if you want to work that hip. We're doing the same side, aren't we? That's my mistake. Apologies. Flip to the other side. Scrap that last 30 seconds. We're coming this way. And we are coming up into a side plank. Taking that leg out. So let's try that again. Get your positioning right. Arm up high. We inhale. Scoop under. Exhale up. So do 2 or 3 with that leg resting on the ground. And then when you're ready, you can take it up if you want to take it up. And you want to try and keep that hip still, foot flex. Up we go. Power up. Keep it going. That's 5. You've got 5 more to do. Remember, you can drop that weight at any point. Keep that buttock on the floor, the one that's on the floor, engaged the whole time. Last 2. Make sure you're not letting that top leg float down if it's in the air. Last 1, pause. Now lower that leg to the floor. Slide that knee a little bit further away, or if you can, take the foot behind and let's pulse. Pulse. Be strong on that arm. Come on, squeeze up through the waist. Focus on your waistline is where all the weight is to lift. Lift. So sit 5, 4. Be strong. Last 2. Last 1. Drop the knee. Turn yourself around and come onto your hands and knees. And then if you need to stretch off those wrists, just give a little stretch there. Turn your palms down because it's quite strong flexion when you're holding your body weight through that arm into your wrist. Good. So grab the weights. We're going back to those rows with the push-ups. Set yourself up. If you're not using them, don't use them. Okay. So whether or not you're in a half plank, get your position right now, or full plank, and we row 1, up for 2. The arm goes wide, my knees go down, and I do a push up and return. Lift up, row, row, drop it wide, drop the knees, and down, and up. So make sure you row, front arm, back arm drops wide and down. Push up and return. Back arm, front arm, drop wide, drop, push up. Got it? And if you're on your knees, make sure you've got the right positioning in the core. So you don't want those hips to be lifting, or equally don't want your lower back to dip. 4 more of these, everybody. That's 2 more each side. Don't rush it. Think about, make sure you're doing the right arm. Always start with the arm that's not going wide. So I've got 1 more each side. You should be about the same. Whoops, yeah, I've just got to make that mistake. Today is the mistakes day. Last 1, row, row wide and push up. Return to the middle, turn your palms in and just drop down, roll your fingertips across the weights, lowering the head and the chest, but lengthening out through those arms. Sink your bottom into your heels, take a little wriggle. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself up. Okay, so we did the left arm rotations. Now we'll do the right arm rotations. Knees wide, big toes together. And you're going to work this front arm. So your back arm comes down to the floor. You soften through the elbow. You soften this arm as well. Don't lock it out. And we reach as we exhale. And then slowly come down. Bend that arm and feed under and hover. And feed it through. And feed. Good. Keep going. Breathe. Remember, as you rotate, the hip bone stays still. You squeeze your abs, rib cage, shoulder blade. 2 more. Allow that give through your hips. You're not going to be able to completely stabilize your hips. Now this one, if you can, hold it up and then press. 5, use your abs. 4, come on. 3, 2, 1 more. And let's speed it all the way under. Dropping to the floor. If you can lower your head and just reach and stretch the shoulder blade, do. If you need to make a fifth, just to lower your head down to make it a little bit easier, then do that. And then just breathe into that wonderful stretch. Whew. And then on your next breath, just gently begin to ease off. Pull the weight back through. And then once again, flip around, sit on your bottom. Okay, second set of rotations with the elbow taps to the side. Weights or no weights, I'm going to face you again. You can stay with your feet up that end. So you're here, lift up tall to take a breath in. Exhale, float the spine slowly, softly, softly. Suck the belly in, deep into the navel. And when you're ready, we tap, center, tap, center. So I'm going to drop the weights this time. My back's not really liking this today. My back's done a little bit too much over the last few days. So it's screaming out and it will instantly take over the abs. So I need my abs to control this. And that's much better work for me. So I'm benefiting more from not having the weights. But that's just because of my back. You may feel the weights are much better, far more effective. Tap it. Tap it. Come up a little bit if it's too much. 8, 7, 6. Come on. Reach. 4. Notice how I'm coming up. Dropping back. Last 2. Give me last 1. And then inhale all the way up. Drop your weight. Slide your hands onto your shins. And lift your spine up tall. Pull your shoulder blades together, chest elevated. So spin around. So no, don't spin around because you're already the right way. I'm spinning around and I'm rolling to the floor. Good. Okay. I want you to take those arms back to a T shape. Just look at them, make sure they line up. I want you to find your breath. We're going to work one arm and legs at the same time, but they're working in opposite directions. We lift the legs to tabletop. You can make the lever longer if you wish. You can make it slightly shorter if you wish. Yeah, which is just gently pulling the thighs in, but keeping the ankles at knee level. I'm going to raise my back arm up and my front arm is going to stay where it is. My arms working the opposite way to my legs. So we drop the arm so it doesn't quite touch the ground and the legs don't either. And we bring them back in. Extend the legs and do a one arm reach. Bend the knees, open out, twist, bring them back up, extend and reach. Got it? It's much easier to do this with a hand weight. Otherwise, you'll feel like you lose your center balance. So it just kind of helps to lever those legs up and then reach. Now, when you reach up with that one arm, reach up very slightly off center towards that front foot, towards the toe. You get a little bit of a oblique workout. So keep it going. And if you want more, keep those legs straighter. Yeah? 4 more of these. Last 2, guys. Let's work it. Come on. Now let's give us 10 pulses here. So ready? 10, 9, twist, 7, reach up to those toes, straighten out through the knees, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the head, drop the arm, bend the knees, and drop the feet. Find your breath. Bring the soles, feet together, let the knees fall out. Keep the arms where they are. We're going to lift the hips up into a butterfly bridge. We inhale, airbrush the floor, exhale up. Lift. Now, as you lift up, feel those inner thighs active as you try to pull your knees in, but at the same time, you're pushing them apart. So you're just activating those inner thighs. 8, 7, squeeze your weaker side. Keep it going. 3, 2, and 1. Drop the bottom and let yourself fall into butterfly. A little side to side. Good. Come back into the middle. Bring those feet and knees together. Lift those legs back up. Okay, so we're doing the same leg exercise, working the opposite way with the other arm. So the arm starts here. We breathe in to begin. Exhale, drop the knees away, open the arm out, and then lift everything back in. Extend and reach up towards that little toe. And drop down. Lift up and reach. And you can make it harder by keeping the legs straight if you wish. Don't rush this exercise. Don't try and go faster than what I'm demoing. Keep the pace. Slower the go, the more beneficial it is. Carrying on that tension. Reaching up, 4 more. Reach, 3 more. Last 2. You can keep your knees bent. You don't have to have your legs straight. It's all about listening to your body. Last one, guys. Pull all the way up. Reach up one more time. Then drop the head down. Take a breath. And then reach. Reach. 8, 7. Squeeze. 5, 4, 3. Last 2. And 1. Lower the head. Lower the arms. Bend your knees. And drop your feet. Take a breath. Taking your feet heel toe wide. Take the knees with you. We're going to push up into a bridge. So we're going to work those arms with the legs. Bring your arms more to a bent to elbow position. So my forearms are off the ground. If it's too much, you can come to chest press position. So we're going to squeeze the thighs together as we bring our arms up. Open the knees, open the elbows. Or you're doing flies. So I don't mind if you do flies or chest press. Chest press turns, opens at 90 degrees. Work deep into those inner thighs. If you're not using weights, just do the arm movement anyway. It's still shoulder mobility work. Focus deep onto those inner thighs, getting those knees touching. Allow your ankles to have that natural rotation. You should be starting to feel this in the buttocks. 4, 3, come on, squeeze up. 2, One more. Hold, 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 hold. Now pulse the hips up and down. Come on, press, 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 squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Inhale, open those knees. Exhale, as you roll out, carefully and controllably drop the arms down, ground them back. Just let your knees drop to one side. That might be enough stretch for you. If not, pop that foot on top and just take it into a deeper stretch. Really dome through the tummy as you breathe. Swap to the other side. So just roll into the center, pop the knees over the other way. Find your stretch. If you wish, drop that foot down. And carefully release the foot. Roll yourself back into the middle. Close your feet together. And then you're going to bring your arms back up above. Lift the legs up to tabletop. Okay. If you can, extend your legs. You're going to work one side at the same time. We're working the same side. So quite often we do dead bug, which is where we work opposite arms and legs. This one is working the leg and arm together. So you kick away, you pull in, you come up. Opposite side, push away, pull back in, and lift. You can do this with bent knees. You can bend your elbow, you can pull back in, and then crunch above the shins. So bend the elbow, pull back in, and crunch. And even if you're not using weights, it's still a very good exercise. You're just working the same side, squeezing, and lift it up. Now, if you wish, you can start adding into this. Half star, it's your choice. So drop the same side, open out, close, and come up and crunch. It's not a big move. Drop it, gently abduct, shoulder and hip, and lift back in and come up. It just adds a tiny little bit more into that core stability and that prolonged tension in the abs at that last point. So whichever one you're doing, 6 more, 3 more each side. Four more. Please don't rush it. Oh, deep into those abs. Nearly there, everyone. One more. Okay, now drop front leg and the back arm and give me 10 little presses. 8, 7, try and keep that leg extended to the sky, keep it still. 4, come on. 3, squeeze your abs. Last one, lift it up, pause. Exhale, opposite side. And 10, 9, squeeze deep into those tummy muscles. 7, 6, 5, if it's too much, drop your weight or lift your leg a little bit higher. Last one, lift it up. Drop your knees, drop your feet, drop the weights. Grab your legs and just hug your knees in. Just roll side to side. Find your breath. And then just drop that back knee. Drop the front knee. Extend your legs. Interlace the fingers. Take a reach as you breathe in. Exhale, float the body down, lift your fingertips up towards the sky and carefully roll yourself up to seated. Now, if you can't roll up to seated, just come up, roll over onto one side and roll up however you comfortably can. And I want you to turn around and come into an extended arm child's pose or in that cat stretch. So reach the fingertips forward, the elbows off the floor. Take a breath in, park your bottom down, lift your eye gaze up, walk those fingers a little bit further and melt your head and chest down towards the floor. So if you're in cat stretch, I want you to just come low and push down in this position. Okay? So you haven't got the pain in the knee joint or the hip joint. Take one more breath. Carefully walk your hands back in, come up onto your knees. Take a step forward in that front leg and then reach forward down into the hip, bring your hands either side of the foot, slide that back knee away. Option is to stay here, bringing the hand inside the foot and just drop down, or if you can come to your elbows and stretch out those hip flexors. And if you're on your hands, just bend your knees, melt your chest, but keep that spine beautifully long. And don't let that knee fly away from you. Try and tuck it in towards your top part of your arm. And just breathe. Bring this front hand up onto the thigh. Stay sunken down. Lift your back arm up and then come into a little side bend towards me, opening out the whole of that back side down into the thigh, all the way to the kneecap. Try and just gently reach back through the upper body as you reach your fingers further over, C-shape through the body. Some of you might be able to comfortably grab that arm hand as well and just bring it over. And then gently release the hands to the floor, either side of your feet. And then push your hips back, keeping your toes pressed into the floor, come into a hamstring stretch. So I've got my feet, I'm going to try and pin my feet down with my weight to the floor, putting that hip back, driving the opposite hip forward, trying to extend through the knee and just melting my head and chest down, shoulders are relaxed. Whilst you're here, I want you to take your foot, roll onto the back of the heel, pull your hands in a little bit closer, slide that leg down a little bit more if you can. So we're going deeper into the stretch and then walk your hands back and melt down. So a little bit deeper, gets a little bit deeper into the back of the knee, into those tendons. And then just slide this foot in. And I want you to lean into the foot. So I'm leaning down into the foot, pushing my heel to the floor so the stretch is coming to my calf. If I bring that knee a little bit closer and then lean forward into that thigh, I get a lovely stretch in my calf. Now, if you're not tight in your calves, you struggle to feel this. So if you're lucky, you'll get the stretch. If you're nice and loose in that area, you won't necessarily feel it. And that's really strong, just above my Achilles and the lower part of my calf. On one side might feel it, on the other side might not feel it at all. Okay, release your knees back together. Take the opposite leg forward. Slide that knee back and then sink your hips down, bringing your hands inside the foot and stay here. Bend the elbows, lengthen out and just sink your body down. If you wish to go that bit, a little bit further, you can drop down to your elbows and do so now. Come down to the floor. I definitely can't. And as you do so, try and pull your thigh in towards the upper part of your arm. Don't hunch the shoulders, just allow that fluidity through your elbows. Go a little bit deeper as you breathe out. One last breath. And then carefully come up onto your hands. Bring that hand on top of your thigh. So I'm resting my forearm. Reach the arm up and side bend. So I'm keeping that hip low to find that stretch, and then I'm gently reaching back to find the stretch of the abs, and then over to the side. to get that full benefit into the rib cage. If you wish to grab the wrist, do so. Find your breath again. And then carefully just release your hands, bringing your hands either side of your foot. My foot staying pinned to the floor, and I'm pushing back into that hamstring stretch. So I'm pulling the hip back as well. So don't just allow that leg to come back and then rotate. Pull that hip back, this hip forward. And then just dip down, relaxing the shoulders, toes pressed into the floor. And then we're going to come into a deeper stretch in the hamstrings. Roll onto the back of the heel, bring your fingertips in, then get that leg a little bit further forward. Again, don't let the hip travel away from your body. Walk the fingers and dip down. I am very tight in my right side. I'm not going low at all here. Just very tight in that hamstring. Breathe. More breaths. Go deeper, 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 deeper. And then we bring ourselves out of it. We slide this foot in. And at the same time, slide that knee in. And we're leaning forward into this thigh. I'm just reaching my arms away. So I take my weight into that thigh and getting that stretch in the calf again. Fiddle with the stretch. You need to kind of find your place. And if you're not finding it, then again, you may not be tight in that calf. Maybe try and lean forward a little bit more as you push the heel down. So I've got it quite strong in both feet today because my calves have been doing lots of work. And then from there, bring the fingertips down to the floor and then simply lift onto the toes and then raise up into a forward fold. Relaxing my body. So I'm bending my knees, chest towards the thighs, holding onto my elbows and just swaying side to side. Come sway yourself back into center point. Staying here, interlace those fingers and take your arms up and overhead and stretch over those shoulders. And then just wriggle side to side, just moving in and out. And then gently come into the center, release your hands, scoot the belly in and roll up your spine, or feel free to walk your hands up your legs. I want you to close your eyes as you stack your spine one by one. Remember, the chin comes up last. Once you hit the top, find your positioning, making sure your weight is equal to both sides of your body. Take a shoulder roll up towards the ears and out behind. Open your arms and inhale your arms all the way up. Gently bring them together, dropping them down in front, giving yourselves a bow as always, a clap as always. I believe you worked hard as always. Thank you as always, and have a wonderful week, wherever you are, wherever you're doing this. It might be Monday, it might be Tuesday, it might be Wednesday, it might be Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.